Hey everyone, I'm back. Well, not only am I back, I'm actually back walking. Oh, it's going to be hard, I know it. But listen, the weather's improved to the extent that it's now not sweltering hot. Although it is still warm here down on the south coast. So I've got my hat, got my bottle of juice, but I couldn't put it off any longer because I could just feel my stomach expanding as I was sitting around not taking any exercise. Although to be fair, I have been digging all the stones up off of my drive because I'm having a new driveway done. It was currently covered with like shingle stuff, so I have been digging that up. So I've not been just sat on my arse. I have been getting a little bit of exercise, but not the walking exercise that I felt that I really ought to be doing. Anyway, that aside, enough of my whole rubbish about myself. The worst kept secret in football finally was announced, and DJed Spence has now signed for Tottenham. We've seen the videos and on all the rest of it, and I myself have been talking about it. But no sooner has the ink even dried on the paper before fans are already calling out that he should be sent out on loan, that he's not good enough, that Contes didn't want him, and already putting the mockers on it, which is really disappointing. It really does my head in. The negativity of some people is a bit of a bugbear of mine, because the kid ain't even kicked the football yet. We're already writing him off. He's what, 21 or something? So he's not a lot. Is he even that? I'm not even sure, to be honest. But we did the same with, we didn't, some did, the same with Contes, who was written off after 20 minutes of football as being too slow and being too cumbersome. And yet he's gone on to show that he's actually a decent player and could be a really good buy for us in the longer term. But I guess the point I wanted to focus on was around these comments from Conte. Now, my last video I talked about Conte's comments about different players, which kind of indicates that he wanted them, why he wanted them, and so on. And these comments are a little bit different. And I did say at the end of the last one, it'll be interesting to see what he says about it. So what he did say was that Tottenham had been tracking Spence for a while. He was the kind of player that Tottenham wanted for the long-term future of the club, and that he'd signed off on it. So, okay, what does that tell us really, truthfully? Well, it tells us that Conte is looking to take Tottenham in a different direction in terms of getting players that are ready, that are there for the now, that are going to take us somewhere, because he recognises that football is all about the now. It's all about the winning of trophies at the point that you're at, not planning necessarily for the future. But he still recognises that you have to plan a little bit for the future about what you got. And he also said that he could be an important player for Spurs. So that's, to me, he's not a write-off. It's not a case of I didn't want him and I'm not interested. What he said was he was Tottenham's choice, but that he'd signed off on it, which says to me that he's okay with it, because he's previously said that he should be making the decisions about what players are in and out and all the rest of it. So I'm comfortable with it. I'm comfortable with this decision, and I think it's up to DJed Spence to prove to Conte that he's worthy, that he's good enough to compete with the players in those positions that he wants him to play in. You know, whether that be a right wing back or whatever. So it also gives us the opportunity to have, as it stands, 3 right wing backs with Doherty and Emerson and Spence. And also there's the question about Lucas Moura. Now Lucas Moura will play anywhere. He just wants to play. He just wants to be part of the squad, the team, and all the rest of it. And he's happy to compete. And fair play to him. I always felt that he would be the one that would stay when we were having the argument about him and Bergwijn. It's always likely to be Lucas to stay because he's committed and he's versatile, you know. And he's been squeezed out of a squad when he was in PSG. So it kind of makes sense. And again, I'm not against that because I actually like Lucas. I prefer him as a impact sub coming on because I like his directness. I like the fact that he just gets his head down and gets on with it and gets, you know, charges forward. The disappointment is he don't then get his head up when he needs to, which is the downside. But yeah, so you know, I think it gives us strength in that position. I'm not sure what's going on about players going out because it doesn't feel like any of them want to go. So we know that we need to get rid of some. We know that everyone can't play and everyone can't be in the squad all the time. So how do we get those players out if they don't want to go, you know? And that might be a problem because obviously the players can see what's going on. They can see the strength that we're building and so on. And they might want to be part of that. They might want to think to themselves, you know what if I can get into this squad playing with better players? Maybe I can be better, maybe I can work harder, maybe I'll get my chance, maybe I'll pick up a bit of silverware. So I think it's going to be quite tough, you know, because there's like, you know, very few gone out at the moment, and I know it's very, very early days still. We can forget, you know, that it's only July. You know, normally we're doing this business at the end of August, you know, if we even do any business. And yet here we are in July with 6 signings in, and it almost feels like that's not it, that's not finished. My only concern about it, I've got to be honest, is that if you bring too many in, will that unbalance what you've already got or what? But I don't think it will. You know, it's a worry, but I don't think it will because I think these players are being brought in for specific roles, for specific places to strengthen the squad, give us depth. And I think it's looking really, really healthy. The thing about Maddison, which is the latest, you know, one that social media is pushing as our next signing. And I don't know how true any of that is because obviously I'm not in the know. I don't know nothing. But listening to a few reports from, you know, Alistair Gold and people like that saying it's not likely, it's someone that they're looking at, they'd like to have if it ever became an option, but it's not something that's currently being worked on because I don't think Leicester would particularly want to lose him either. But it'd be an interesting one. But that would desperately need some movement in the midfield because as it stands, Winks is still in there, you know. And, you know, personally, as much as I love the lad, unless something major happens, I think his time's up. I think he needs a new challenge, somewhere different that's going to give him regular football and really give him the opportunity to show what he's about, you know. If you look at Kyle Walker-Peters, look how much he's come on since he went to Southampton, you know, and I think the same could be true for someone like Winks. You know, if they get regular football, can they get back that form, you know, that we admired so much when he first sort of came on the scene, you know. So it'd be interesting to see where we go from here. So lots to do still, long time still to go. I think a fair amount of outcomings must be on the cards. But if there isn't, you know what, I ain't bothered, because the more players you've got, the better strength in depth you've got. I know you can only have so many in a squad, and I think those players that are really on the verge will know it. Those who think they still have a chance may still hang on. I think the case in point is on Dombele, but I think we'll save the debate about him for another day. Anyway, keep the faith. I'm keeping me walking. I'm halfway round and I'm already knackered, because I've been walking before I started, to be fair. So I'm already a bit knackered. But yeah, so anyway, leave it there because I'm rambling. Up the Spurs.